On October 8, 1480, the Great Stand on the Ugra River marked a turning point in Russian history, as the forces of Grand Duke Ivan III faced down the advancing Tatar Khan's army, symbolizing the end of Tatar dominance over Moscow. As both armies assembled by the river, Ivan III's resolve grew stronger. He had united various Russian principalities, fostering a sense of shared identity against the Tatar threat. The camaraderie among the warriors became palpable, strengthening their will. The Tatar Khan, sensing the reluctance of his men to fight, attempted to intimidate Ivan III through a show of force and boasts of past conquests. His fierce demeanor sought to instill fear, but Ivan remained steadfast. As the standoff continued, Ivan III approached the front lines to address his men. He spoke fervently about liberation from Tatar rule, igniting their spirits and bolstering their courage to stand firm. On the opposite riverbank, the Tatar Khan grew impatient. His forces were beginning to waver, and he sought to instill confidence among his troops, rallying them for an imminent charge. Meanwhile, Ivan III and his generals strategized. The goal was not just to resist, but to outlast the enemy, leveraging the strength of their numbers and home advantage. As the hours dragged on, tensions rose, and both sides remained stalemated. Ivan's warriors began to feel the strain, yet their loyalty to their leader drove them to hold fast. Finally, after hours of confrontations, the strategic lead of Ivan III began to cause cracks in the morale of the Tatar forces. The situation hung heavily in the air, with uncertainty spreading among his foes. As evening approached, Ivan III made a pivotal decision to send emissaries to negotiate terms with the Tatar Khan, aiming to end hostilities without bloodshed. The Tatar Khan, compelled by the growing uncertainty among his troops, agreed to meet with Ivan's emissaries, but made it clear that he would not back down easily. As negotiations began, Ivan III's emissaries emphasized the unity of the Russian principalities, aiming to weaken the resolve of the Tatar Khan's forces. As the night wore on, the discussions ebbed and flowed, with both sides weighing their options. Ivan III's calm demeanor began to unsettle some Tatar leaders, showcasing their waning confidence. In an unexpected turn, the Tatar Khan, realizing the strength of Ivan's unity, sent a message proposing a strategic retreat, marking a historic moment. A messenger swiftly carried the Khan's message to Ivan III, who, upon reading the retreat proposal, felt the tides of history shifting in favor of the Russians. Emboldened by the proposal, Ivan convened a meeting with his generals to discuss their next steps, recognizing the historic significance of the moment. In the early hours of the morning, Ivan shared the news of the Khan's retreat offer with his troops, igniting a wave of hope and excitement across the ranks. As Ivan rallied his troops, he reinforced that this was not merely a battle, but a stand for the future and independence of Moscow, aiming to unify all Russians against their common enemy. Knowing that this was their moment, Ivan's troops prepared to face their enemy, ready to reclaim their sovereignty and put an end to centuries of oppression. On the opposite bank, the Tatar Khan grappled with the realization that his force's spirit was faltering, making him reconsider the impending conflict. As dawn progresses, the Tatar Khan ultimately decided to withdraw his forces, sensing that victory was no longer certain. With the Tatar forces retracting, Ivan's troops erupted in cheers, realizing they had triumphed in what would be remembered as a pivotal moment in Russian history. As the sun began to rise over the Ugra River, the shimmering waters reflected the tension in the air. Ivan III stood resolute on his horse, surveying the vast landscape, feeling the weight of history on his shoulders. The Tatar Khan, observing Ivan's unyielding stance, consulted with his advisors who were equally tense. They discussed strategies to undermine Ivan's confidence and force a battle at a disadvantage. Ivan called for his most trusted generals, discussing the virtues of patience and morale. Each warrior pledging their loyalty felt invigorated by his unwavering belief in victory. The Tatar archers, agile and alert, practiced their shots across the river. Their eyes trained keenly on the Russian formations, waiting for the right moment to demonstrate their precision. Rumors began to spread among Ivan's troops. Tales of previous skirmishes against the Tatars surfaced, bolstering their resolve and rallying their spirits toward a common cause. The Tatar Khan, sensing the rippling waves of unease among his troops, decided to send a small delegation to Ivan to further gauge the potential for negotiation. Ivan, showcasing his leadership, welcomed the Tatar delegation with an unwavering demeanor, but a fierce glint in his eyes, signaling his readiness for negotiations. The negotiation prolonged, with both sides asserting their positions fiercely, yet Ivan's determination began to sway the Tatar delegates, causing glimpses of doubt to surface among them. As midnight approached, the sound of distant drums echoed through the air, prompting each side to prepare for the unknown, further escalating the stalemate at the river. Ivan, realizing the psychological edge was crucial, ordered his troops to raise their battle cries, filling the air with a collective roar that underscored their determination. On the Tatar side, the Khan's advisors urged him to reconsider the risk of the battle, emphasizing the morale issues spreading among their ranks under Ivan's relentless leadership. The early morning light began to break, casting ethereal rays over the Ugra River, and both sides felt the vastness of the decision looming ahead, recognizing the likely turn of their fates. News spread rapidly among Ivan's forces about the Tatar Khan's wavering resolve, igniting a renewed sense of hope among the men ready to fight for their homeland. The Tatar Khan, ultimately confronted by the possibility of defeat and the overwhelming spirit of Ivan's army, called for a council to reconsider their plans for retreat. As Ivan observed the Tatar camp, he noted the restless movements of their soldiers, further confirming his belief that victory was within reach if they could maintain their resolve. Privately, the Tatar Khan weighed his options, feeling the pressure from his own men who were beginning to question their own strength and his leadership. Ivan inspired a final rally among his warriors, reminding them of their history and heritage, urging them to stand with honor and pride against their oppressors. The Tatar archers, recognizing a shift in the wind, adjusted their positions, ready to unleash their arrows if negotiations broke down and battle commenced. A moment of silence enveloped both camps as the realization of impending conflict settled in. Warriors across both sides steadied their grips on their weapons, awaiting the final call. As tension mounted, Ivan remained steadfast, unwilling to show any sign of retreat or compromise. He embodied the spirit of the resistance, unyielding despite the pressures. In an unexpected turn, the Tatar Khan raised a flag of parley, signaling his willingness to reconsider an aggressive approach, igniting curiosity among Ivan's troops. Ivan, seeing the flag raised, understood this was a pivotal moment, a chance to turn the tide without further bloodshed. He prepared for another round of negotiations with renewed vigor. As the sun rose on October 8, 1480, shadows lengthened across the Ugra River, marking the moment of deepest tension. Both armies stood poised, the air thick with anticipation of a clash that may never come. The Grand Duke, riding his powerful steed, surveyed his troops, instilling a sense of unity among men from various principalities, whose loyalty was now steadfastly linked to one cause: freedom from Tatar oppression. Meanwhile, the Tatar Khan, troubled by the courage of Ivan's forces, gathered his commanders to plot a show of strength. His sharp, dark eyes analyzed the determination evident in the faces of the Muscovites. As both camps prepared for battle, Ivan's camaraderie speeches rallied Russian warriors, emphasizing the nobleness of their struggle against tyranny, igniting fervent loyalty amongst them. Tatar archers, swift and agile, positioned themselves strategically along the riverbank, practicing their skills as tension mounted, confident in their abilities, yet aware of the unfolding drama before them. As Ivan's men shared tales of valor and heritage, the Tatar Khan, witnessing his troops' morale dwindling, contemplated a last-ditch show of force to re-establish control, yet doubted his chances. Realizing the weight of the moment, Ivan gathered his forces once more, adjusting his strategy and reinforcing the importance of patience, as the tide of conflict hung in the balance. By midday, the escalating bravado from both sides reached a breaking point. Ivan's unwavering spirit began to resonate with the Tatar Khan, who sensed faltering loyalty among his own men. Recognizing the need for a decisive shift, the Khan convened with his closest advisors to discuss an unexpected proposal of parley, testing the waters of a potential diplomatic resolution. The tension palpable, Ivan received envoys from the Khan, deliberately showcasing a readiness for peace talks, knowing that this moment could define his legacy and the fate of Moscow. During the negotiations, Ivan's attitude of commitment to peace and strength began to wear down the resolve of the Tatar envoys, shifting the balance toward diplomacy. As hours passed, under the weight of Ivan's unyielding stance, the Tatar delegates began to waver, revealing newfound trepidation amongst their ranks, amid whispers of retreat. With the negotiations dragging on, Ivan's soldiers began to whisper about victory, igniting the spirit of resistance and courage as hopes of liberation surged within the ranks. At last, under pressure from his own faltering men, the Tatar Khan made a pivotal decision to withdraw, signaling a remarkable turn in the tides of conflict and history. With the Khan's flag of retreat raised, Ivan's forces erupted into cheers, their voices echoing across the Ugra, marking a historical victory against Tatar dominance that would echo through generations. As the day concluded, Grand Duke Ivan III embodied the culmination of a struggle that defined the future of Moscow, his leadership ensuring the waning of Tatar influence in Russian lands. In the ensuing years, the outcome of the Great Stand resonated throughout the region, solidifying Ivan III's legacy as the liberated heart of Moscow, fostering a newfound Russian identity. Ultimately, the Great Stand on the Ugra River not only ended Tatar rule, but also consolidated Ivan III's power, leading to a unified Russia that would emerge centuries strong and sovereign.